It's all about me.
This is the Dan Patrick Show podcast.
There is more where that came from.
Click back for new episodes all week long. Broadcasting from the Mercedes Man Cave.
And I don't want to hear from all the chiropractors here.
This is Dan Patrick.
And lo and behold, we've heard from all the chiropractors. I think they just call up and then say something and then they hang up. Blame it on the Danettes. I use a chiropractor. But then, at my advanced age and my body, I'll try anything. I did cryotherapy again over the weekend where you get into the freezer and 200 degrees below zero. Yep, did that. I don't know if it makes me... I think it's one of those subconsciously going, yeah, I'm the placebo effect. I think my inflammation is kind of quieting down here. Yeah, Fritzy?
Can you just do that whenever you want, or there must be a space of time between them where I would think they would say, like, you know what, you've been here 4 times this week.
No.
I want to take next week
I
off.
don't do it. I did it once. I did it last weekend and then this weekend. But I didn't notice anything yet. And then I got a B12 shot. I don't even know if that was what that was going to do, but my daughter said, why don't you get a B12 shot? I'm like, okay. So as much as I hate needles, I still got the B12 shot. But you can go in there and get a drip, like an IV drip, or you just sit in there and they just put in saline, or I don't know what they put in you for 30 minutes here. You get this IV drip. I'm like, there is no way in the world I'm going to do that. I have a hard enough time giving blood when I have to give blood, let alone let me go in there and get a drip. All right, welcome to the program, already in progress here. Dan and the Danettes, Dan Patrick Show. Best and worst of the weekend. We'll give you hours coming up, what you saw that you liked, you didn't like from over the weekend. Had people weighing in on LeBron James and Jameis Winston. World Cup soccer, not a whole lot of drama. Melo is staying in Oklahoma City for another year. Julian Edelman is fighting his suspension. Now, there could be this possibility of a tainted sample, but maybe it was the lab that, you know, sort of the Ryan Braun situation. Remember what we had with that? The Milwaukee Brewers. And then, of course, he really ruined things when he tested positive the next year, I think. But there could be the handling of the sample with Julian Edelman. Jameis Winston, it's still a possibility of a 3-game suspension. I think it could be upwards of 6 games, but I think there is negotiations going on as we speak. Yes, Paul.
Do you think the NFL floated the 3-game suspension out to Schefter or whoever last week to gauge the public's opinion and then put the final penalty in place for Jameis? Because I
don't know. Not with us.
That's their move.
Yeah, but I don't know with something like that. And like, are we going to be like, how can you give him 3 games? It should be 6 games, and then they're going to give him 6 games?
Well, yeah, because they always get dinged for under punishing or over punishing.
It feels like there's a little bit more to this story. First of all, the guy who was there, who was his witness, was also there when, had the alleged sexual assault, and he was his witness as well. So that puts even further, that situation even, more in doubt, in my opinion. But if they sit him down for 3 games, sit him down for 3 games, I've had people say, well, if you could go back, would you take Mariota over Winston? I said at the time Winston would be the better quarterback because he had more talent around him. I thought Tampa had great offensive weapons, but Mariota is there that's the long-term guy that I would want. And Winston put up great numbers to start, good numbers. But yeah, I would take Mariota. Even if Winston wasn't in trouble, I still feel like Mariota is going to be a better quarterback. And I also feel, the personality part of this, I feel safer having him as my franchise quarterback than I do Jameis Winston. All right, 877-3DP-SHOW, email address dp@danpatrick.com. You got the NBA awards coming up tonight, and James Harden will be your MVP. I've got a stat of the day. Seton, it can't wait. I need some music. Right now.
Start of the day! Start of the day! Start of the day! Start of the day! Here comes the start of the day!
James Harden would be the 3rd different Rockets player to win an MVP award. Moses Malone won twice. Hakeem Olajuwon won once. The only other franchises with 3 or more different MVP winners, Celtics, Lakers, and the Philadelphia 76ers.
Start of the day! Start of the day! Start of the day! Start of the day! Here comes the start of the day!
Stat of the day brought to you by Continental Tire. The extreme contact sport is Continental Tire's newest ultra-high-performance summer tire, tested to the limits by 5 championship drivers. You're going to love it, whether you're on the open road or on a racetrack. This tire is for what you do. Visit ContinentalTire.com for more details. In case you're wondering, 4 Celtics and 4 Lakers and 4 76ers won MVPs. Bob Cousy, Bill Russell, Dave Cowens, and Larry Bird. 4 Lakers, Kareem, Magic, Shaq, and Kobe. 76ers, Chamberlain, Dr. J, Moses Malone, and Allen Iverson. The Rockets, Malone and Elijah Wan, and it looks like it'll be James Harden. Have we underrated Moses Malone? He won 2 MVPs with the Rockets. He won an MVP with the Sixers. He got 1 NBA title, I believe. He came out of high school, and he was a big deal when he came out of high school. I think he was going to go to Maryland, and he went right to the ABA. The Utah Stars, I believe, with Moses Malone. But Moses was one of those guys that I don't know if he could jump, but he seemed to get every rebound. And he always scored. And just something about Moses Malone understanding how to play the game. And I'd never thought that he had this great ability other than he was just tireless and fearless. Yeah, Paul.
Moses Malone, first full year in the NBA with Houston, age 23, 25 points, 18 rebounds a game. He averaged 7 offensive rebounds a game.
Yeah, and then people would say, well, he kind of puts it up there to not make it so he could get the offensive rebound. I went, well, he's still getting it. Yeah, McLevin.
We would call that a Moses Malone if you missed your own shot and got it. And it's, you just pulled a Moses.
Pad your stats there. A couple of tweets here. Orange Buck, best of the weekend watching England cruise to the knockout round with a win over Tunisia. Harry Kane. Worst of the weekend being a Bucks fan with the latest Jameis Winston news. Chef Juan Mora tweets, best Mexico winning. Worst Cubs dropping all 4 games to the last place Reds. Coach Leclerc 14, best of the weekend. Bubba Watson's performance. Worst of the weekend, diving in soccer. It always comes to light in the World Cup. A couple more phone calls here. Best and worst of the weekend. Brad in Texas joins us. Hi, Brad. What do you have for me today?
59160. Yeah, I got 2 best. Bubba pulling it out up there by Hall, actually, in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And the Astros yesterday. We're on a tear, 8-2 in the last 10, I think. I had a question, actually, about that, about the Astros. I heard you say that pitching really gets it done in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Do you think the Astros have what it takes to get it done to get back-to-back titles?
Well, if you saw what Verlander did last year, I mean, you got to have certainly one guy who's great. And if you have 2 guys who are very good, then you have a great chance. Although pitching is changing, and it's changed so much where you're not getting a guy who might go 8 innings. Verlander wants to go 9. Schilling always wanted to complete his games. There are certain guys who just realize I can go 6, maybe 7, and then it comes down to the bullpen. But it still comes down to your weakest link. That's really what's interesting about when you get to playoff baseball, your weakest link in your pitching staff. Do you have great starters but good relievers, or other way around? It just somehow in the postseason, those are a little bit more magnified there. Yeah, McLevin.
I'm with you. By the way, baseball, you see the team that's red hot right now?
I'm guessing you're Phillies?
Yeah, baby. They lost last night, but I'm starting to really, really jump hard back on the baseball bandwagon.
Do we know who's in the home run derby, by the way? I saw where Bryce Harper was probably nudged by Major League Baseball to take part in the home run derby.
He said if I'm an all-star,
if he's
I will
an
be
all-star,
in it.
yeah.
Is that just because of the hometown? And
Yes.
also, is this going to ruin his swing even more? He's hitting .219.
I wouldn't want to be in the home run derby if I was a name player. It's a chance for somebody else to be a name player and be the king of the home run for a night. Now, I do have a question about this because you can hit 30 home runs in, let's say round 2, and your opponent hits 9. You don't get any extra benefit from that. That doesn't help you, and it feels like it tires these guys out, right? What if you did total distance? So home runs and the amount of feet. So we add up the footage for you to declare who is the home run champ. I mean, you could do it in real time where you just do the math there. If somebody has, 423 feet, and then somebody goes 469, you just start to tabulate there. And maybe it's something different. But I don't know. It's just a tweak that I have for the home run derby. But I understand why these guys, remember Judge? When Judge was in it last year, and then he had that second half where he was really, really in trouble with his swing. And we've seen this with guys because you get caught up in the emotion. Remember Mark McGwire at Fenway? McGwire didn't even win, but he was hitting them out of the ball. He was hitting them out onto the highway. And it was just an amazing sight there to see what he did at Fenway. But I'm trying to think did Ken Griffey Jr. win that home run derby at Fenway?
I think he did.
I don't even remember. When Hamilton had his unbelievable performance, who won? Was it Justin Morneau? I don't even know sometimes who wins. Todd Frazier won a home run derby. Ken Griffey Jr. won like 2 or 3. Hat backwards home run. Bonds and McGwire took part in a home run. Sosa won a home run derby. Yeah, McLevin.
Maybe it's total apples and oranges, but I kind of want the big stars to be in there because I want the big stars to be in the slam dunk contest. Like, I'd love to see LeBron James in an NBA.
I would like it. I just understand why they don't want to do it because it messes with your swing.
Yeah.
It's like if I said we're going to have, Bubba and Dustin Johnson and Tiger and it's going to be a long drive contest. I guarantee you that it will mess you up because you get fast. You're trying to do more rotation. You're trying to get more torque, all that stuff. It would mess up your swing.
I would watch that in a second.
But we don't do that. Why doesn't golf do that at the Players' Championship, a long drive contest? Yes, Fritzy.
But don't you have to, or wouldn't you make an exception if the All-Star Game's in your home city, like a Bryce Harper, where you normally don't want to have any part of it, but if it's in your town, how could you not do that? How could you not participate?
But if you think it's bad, they need him. I mean, they haven't won anything. He's got bigger concerns than winning the home run derby because it's in my backyard. I'm guessing Major League Baseball said, Bryce, how do we convince you to take part in the home run derby? I'm sure that was, may have been the conversation there. But if I'm Bryce Harper, I have nothing to prove in a home run derby. I have a whole lot to prove during the regular season and postseason as well. I had a couple more phone calls here. Let's see. Phil in Indiana. Hi, Phil. What do you have for me today?
Hey, Dan, great to be with you. I just wanted to comment on LeBron James. I think a lot of people have talked about him going to Philadelphia. I'm not sure him on Philadelphia is even a better team than what Boston has with what we saw last year, especially with a healthy Kyrie and Gordon Hayward. And then also I would like to say that Steely Dan, best song, Deacon Blues.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Phil. We're talking about Steely Dan, great band, the late Walter Becker and Donald Fagen. And their backup singers are known as the Steely Danettes. Now, I believe 2014 is the first time they were labeled the Danettes. Hello. Sounds like Donald Fagen might be a Dan Patrick Show fan. That's what I'm guessing. I'm not accusing. I'm just guessing that maybe, Donald Fagen probably, came in, show on the road, get to sleep, wake up in the morning, flipping through the channels, and then all of a sudden, hey, welcome to the Dan Patrick Show, Dan and the Danettes. And then he probably went, click. Now, I'm not accusing. I'm just probably, trying to think how he would be thinking. I got to call the backup singers something. What I call them? The Danettes. Yeah, Danettes. But that was 2014. Reggie Miller, I think, labeled you guys 2008. By the way, we'll see Reg tomorrow. C. Webb is coming in. Did you see where Jim Harbaugh invited Chris Webber to go to a football game?
Harbaugh's a genius.
It's great. And C. Webb's going to go back there. So we'll talk to C. Webb. The Uncle Drew premiere will be tomorrow night, so we get to go to that. And Dale Jr. joins us in this studio on Wednesday. So speaking of Dale Jr., Dale Jr. is going to take part. He joins the NBCSN team for the Monster Energy Cup Series race from Chicagoland Speedway. He's part of the broadcasting team Sunday at 2:30 Eastern on NBCSN. Yes, Paulie.
Chicagoland is where your pass with NASCAR comes into play.
Yeah.
Where you put your arm on Jimmy Johnson's spoiler moments before a race.
Yep, not good.
Almost causing a rules official to come over.
It is so weird. Imagine if you could walk up to Brady and just have a conversation with him, like 2 minutes before the kickoff of the Super Bowl. They have a meet and greet on the track with sponsors, friends, family, and I'm there talking to Jimmy Johnson, And, just casual conversation. I lean on his rear spoiler.
You look like a guy who is jumping up on the back of a flatbed of a truck. You're like, hey, I'm just going to make myself home here.
And his crew chief, Chad Knaus, wanted to kill me. If looks could kill, I would have been dead right there on the spot. Because he's thinking, because if you fail like a inspection because of your spoiler, it's because I'm just leaning there talking to Jimmy Johnson. Meanwhile, gentlemen, start your engine. I mean, they're ready to go in like 2 minutes. And I'm just talking to him like this. And he's getting ready to get in his car, and I'm still talking to him. It's like, hey, Paulie goes, we should go. Okay, all right. Hey, Jimmy, I'll see you later. All right, you have fun. Yeah, Paulie.
The funniest thing is that Jimmy Johnson actually won that race and came on a couple weeks later to talk about it.
Yeah.
You took partial credit for adjusting the spoiler.
I did. I kind of pushed it down just a little bit more aerodynamic. All right, when we come back, more on Julian Edelman, Jameis Winston. Have that for you as well. We'll give you our best and worst of the weekend. McLevin, did we come up with a poll question?
We did. We have one up right now. Who's the real MVP? Oh.
It's called a tease.
Yes, but I'm
trying to teach you how to do radio.
No, because we have one that it's red hot.
Oh, we have a hot new poll question?
I don't know if we want to call it a hot new poll question.
I would say it's hot.
Okay.
Yes. But we have an NBA MVP one up now that is getting changed with your permission.
Okay, you can change it. And then we also have a whose stats would you want? That's coming up. All right, we'll take a break. Back with more phone calls, an update on Julian Edelman and Jameis Winston. Their situation's coming up as well. It's 18 after the hour. This is the Dan Patrick Show.
I've been staying up late looking at YouTube clips of NBA draft prospects, so my 76ers would get the best guy. I don't know if they really cared what I thought, but the point is, it didn't matter because I got such great sleep in my Sleep Number bed. You've heard me talk about Sleep Number bed before, how it's improved my sleep quality. Everyone here at the Dan Patrick Show, my Sleep Number setting is 85. My partner's is 65. Maybe you've considered a Sleep Number bed, but thought you couldn't afford one. But can you really afford another restless night's sleep? Before you do anything, you've got to go to a Sleep Number store to experience adjustable comfort. For a limited time only, Queen mattresses start at only $599. Sleep Number bed lets you adjust your mattress firmness or softness on each side whenever you like. It's perfect bed for couples. Trust me on that one. Again, my Sleep Number setting is 85. My Sleep IQ score last night, 95. Come in now to get the lowest prices of the seasons, where it's the final closeout on a Sleep Number Queen C2 mattress with adjustable comfort on both sides. Now only $599.99. You only find Sleep Number at any of the 550 Sleep Number stores nationwide. Visit sleepnumber.com/Patrick to find the store near you. So everyone knows I put on a lot of miles on my old car driving back and forth to the Dan Patrick Show. Guess what? It's time to buy a new car, and I am so glad that we work with TrueCar because they are helping out so much. If you're looking to buy a car, you're probably familiar. Terms like MSRP, I wasn't. You might even know what that stands for. I didn't. But same goes for invoice, list price, and dealer price. It's enough to confuse even experienced car buyers. All you're really looking for is a price that actually means something. Introducing True Price from TrueCar. Now you can know exactly what you'll pay for the car you want, including fees and accessories, before you even get to the dealership. TrueCar dealers will show you the true price on cars like the one you want, all from the comfort of home. And how do you know if your true price is a great price? Because TrueCar shows you what other people paid for the same car you want. And your certified dealers know this so they can set the true price competitively so they can win your business. So when you're ready to buy a new or a used car, visit TrueCar to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Some features not available in all states.
A couple of tweets here for you. Dan Graziano covers the NFL for the Mothership will join us coming up. Got a whose stats would you want? Matt Geist tweets, we don't care if it's a quarterback. Peyton Manning more than likely was using HGH, but nobody cares. I agree. I don't think that we care if these guys test positive. I just don't. Yeah, McLevin.
I mean, you guys were so right. It's just because Edelman's a Patriot, because there are a lot of guys. Mark Ingram is suspended, and we don't talk about that for a second.
I just don't think anybody cares. And the fact that they've been using HGH for years. You can go back to the 70s when the Steelers were using steroids. So it's been in the game for a long, long time. And Julian Edelman, the only problem is the confidentiality that was breached here. That's the big problem I have. Let them have their day. Let them have their appeal. And then if he tests positive and he gets suspended, okay. But you got to be, because now it feels like, well, Edelman's a steroid guy, right? now he's trying to win this appeal. Even if he wins the appeal, is it on a technicality that maybe he is a steroid guy and somebody mishandled his test? Jameis Winston, possibly suspended for 3 games. What does that mean, possibly? How does that information come out that he could possibly get 3 games? Could he get 6, or is it just 3? So I think the confidentiality breach that's happened here is a bigger story. All right, whose stats would you want? We'll have that for you coming up. Dan Graziano, who covers the NFL for the Mothership, joins us. The National NFL Insider. Get the official title there for you, Dan. The Julian Edelman defense is what?
Well, my understanding on Edelman is that the appeal rests on a couple things. One, as has been reported earlier, that they couldn't really identify what the substance was. And then apparently there was some sort of mishandling of the information, whether it was the documentation or the delivery of the information regarding his positive test to the NFL. Something got messed up there. And so those 2 things, as I understand it, are the 2 key prongs of the defense on that appeal hearing that's being held today.
Okay, but why don't they know what the substance is? Like, is it this?
I don't know.
Like this great mystery? Like we've never seen this substance before. We have no idea what it is.
Right. Well, I mean, look, there are drug tests that are designed to identify certain types of substances, and it's not out of the question, I don't think, that you could stumble on one that the test is not built to figure out. I don't want to get into speculation on what kind of drug. I mean, I don't know, I'm a scientist. Like, I don't know from how drug tests work, but my understanding is that this one stumped the test, whatever that was, and whether it's something that the test isn't designed to test for, or whether it's something that they just don't know what it is. It's a sort of a previously unheard of thing. I don't really know, but there's some murkiness to this whole thing. The key thing to understand, though, Dan, this isn't a part of the process we usually get to see. We don't usually hear about the suspension until after the appeal is heard.
Yeah.
This got reported by Field Yates and Adam Schefter a few weeks ago, and that's the only reason that we really are, we have these details, is because, we found out about the suspension much earlier than we usually do, and quite frankly, are supposed to.
Do we care if these guys test positive for steroids?
Well, I do. I'm a dinosaur. I was a baseball writer 14 years, still have a Hall of Fame vote. I don't vote for the guys I think cheated. That's me.
Okay.
I understand that's sort of a fading, almost outdated idea. But to me, if I'm paying money to watch a game, buy a beer, park my car, and I'm paying what it costs to see these games, I would like to see an honest game. So yeah, I mean, I personally think that it's important to find out who's cheating and who's not. But that's me.
What if Edelman just came out and said, well, I just feel like, baseball's a little bit different than football, that we sort of identify, like we would be doing steroids or HGH if we played in the NFL. Like our mind says, man, I can't blame you. I would do it too, considering what happens to your body. Hey, Edelman's coming back from an injury at his age, and, he took a shortcut here. I don't know if he just came out and did like Andy Pettit and said, look, I took it. I was just trying to help my team and come back, and that we moved on from Andy Pettit pretty quickly. So I don't know.
We did. I remember that.
Yeah.
I was covering the Yankees back then. Pettit actually found each of us in spring training next year and personally apologized to everybody that covered the team. Like he was, so when people are authentic like that, it definitely helps. But that doesn't mean, the rules are in place for whatever reason. So if the NFL thought it was okay to use these drugs, then they wouldn't test for them, right?
Did Clemens apologize to any of the beat writers?
Dude, come on. No. He still says he didn't do anything. Right? He'll go to his grave saying he didn't do anything. No, we didn't. We never got that from Roger.
Why is that he just won't admit it?
I don't know. I guess it's possible he's innocent, but it certainly seems like that there's plenty of evidence. So I think he's just he always struck me as one of these guys that just, if I say it loud enough, then it'll be true, right? I don't know. We've kind of got off the rails here a little bit.
Yeah, you just keep reminding yourself, and then all of a sudden, you believe it. And look at OJ.
Right, exactly.
OJ just kept telling himself the same story, and then he started to believe it. So, not surprised. Dan Graziano, ESPN National NFL Insider. The information. So you had the security breach with Edelman. We've seen that with Jameis Winston as well. The NFL has not had any statement here on his suspension, but now it's possibly 3 games. How do we get to possibly 3 games, Dan?
Well, I think what Adam reported last week was that the NFL's planning on making it a 3-game suspension, but that it still could go up or down depending on other factors. Look, my understanding on Winston is that the thing is not yet settled. That obviously 3 games is a possibility, but I also think it's still possible it could be fewer. It could be. Look, I mean, if it's violence against a woman, then the precedent right now says 6. So if it's going to be, something less than 6, then I think the league has to be prepared to explain why, and that's an awfully awkward position for them to be in. So I think there's a lot going on there. I still think there's something going on there between the accuser and Winston that could result in some sort of legal action there, and I don't know whether it's a matter of the league wanting to see what happens with that, or them wanting to see what the league does. So there's a lot of, I think, voices yet to be heard on that matter.
If you're the Buccaneers, would you move on from Jameis Winston?
Well, on what grounds? That you can't rely on him? That he represents something you don't want to represent? Like what? I mean, this is an incident, and again, let's make sure we're not trying to minimize it. We're not. It's an incident from 2.5 years ago. Did he keep it from you? Does that affect your trust in him?
I just can't have him as the.
He didn't already know. I guess yeah.
I can't have him as the face of the franchise. That I don't think he's.
But they already made that decision when he came out of college with really, unfortunately, shady stuff attached to him. They already made the decision that they were okay with that. This is one more thing, and it's similar to something else we had heard about in previous. And if I were the Bucs, would I have taken Mariota instead? Probably. But they made their peace with Winston, and that's so to the extent to which it's still okay. I mean, obviously this rests with ownership. Does ownership get to the point where they're sick of him? It's a weird situation for him contract-wise. $20.9 million for next year, but it's not guaranteed except against injury until March 13th. So they could cut him healthy if they decide to. So 6 games. If it ends up being a 6-game suspension, a 4-game suspension, whatever. And and something else comes out, or he doesn't play well. I mean, that all of a sudden gets called into question.
Yeah, it just feels like there would be, double secret probation, zero tolerance coming, into the NFL after what happened in college. And
you would think, but quarterback makes people do funny things.
Yeah, but he's not great. The ratio of trouble to performance, it's not in his favor, and that would be the real concern I have with him.
Every NFL team, and again, let's not minimize what he's accused of. We're not. But when we talk about strictly from a football decision perspective, every NFL team, if it's confronting the issue of do we move on from our quarterback, has to answer the question, if so, then what? And that's a terrifying question for most NFL teams, and it keeps a lot of quarterbacks employed.
One final thing, and it should be mentioned, you cover the NFL for ESPN, but you used to be a baseball beat writer covering the Yankees. I had this idea for the home run derby. What if we we totaled up the feet you hit a home, like the distance per home run? Not the number, because there are times when guys have hit, what Hamilton did, where you're hitting 25 and then the guy you're competing with to, move on to the next round, he hits 9. What if I just we're doing total feet? Because it's all about how far we're hitting home runs. So,
but then why don't we just count them all anyway? I mean, why didn't Hamilton's 25 help him in the next round? Like, I don't understand.
I agree, but we don't.
The most home runs?
Yeah. First of all, tell me how great my idea is, though.
It's good. I mean, it's fine. I think it's one of those things where if you change the rules every single year, who would care, right? It's just some goofy contest, and it's fun, and people will tune in and watch it because it's fun. But I don't think you're going to have a whole big problem with people ranting and raving, say, well, this isn't fair because there was different rules last year, and how can you – I mean, this isn't like, these aren't real records. So, I mean, I would try something different every single year. I'd have one year where I just did pitchers, right, and have like who are the great hitting pitchers? I would love to do that.
But I wanted to do this with the 3-point shooting contest, where I had an NBA legend and a current NBA player. So Del Curry and his son would go against each other. Steve Kerr could compete in it with Klay Thompson, or Klay Thompson and his dad could be in it. But make it fun. And what if I did like a Hall of Famer and then I did a current guy? Like you had a draft and you could pick guys and they could be like Mike Schmidt's in the home run derby and George Brett's in the home run derby. I don't know.
I'm watching that.
I got a lot of spare time on my hands. I got a lot of spare time on my hands, Danny. Hey, good to talk to you. Good to see you a couple of weeks ago, and hopefully talk to you soon.
Dan.
All right. Thank you, Dan. Dan Graziano. He's covering the NFL for the mothership there. All right. We have a hot new poll question. Is that right, McLevin?
Definitely.
Okay. Well, let me hear it.
Oh, you want to hear it now? I thought that was another tease.
Oh, no. Okay, let me mention.
Actually, I don't really want to read it, though. I want Paul to read it.
Okay, Paul will read it.
I didn't come up with it.
Who came up with this?
The Room.
Okay, who wants to read it?
Seton, you want to go?
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay.
So we were discussing best sport, sort of like best male body for the sport.
Oh, my God.
Is it soccer? Is it swimming? NBA? I don't really know that we got into football or baseball. Certainly not golf.
So
the real debate right now
the
is
body
between,
you want in these sports.
Yeah, because soccer players are fit. They're in good shape. And that's pretty much the one that translates to
boxing,
normal everyday life.
Boxing should be in there, too.
Oh, yeah, boxing's real good.
You get to trade your body for the ideal athlete in another sport.
To me, it's not even close. Not even close. And I'm going to make you wait. That's called a tease, McLevin. That's what that is. You got it?
Will you tell me during the break when the cameras aren't on?
No, I will not.
See, that's not fair. You're teasing the guys in the room just like the people out there.
Yes. But you're part of the audience. Go to rockauto.com, all the parts your car and truck will ever need. Rockauto.com, a family business founded by automotive engineers in 1999. 2 goals in mind. You get direct access to all the parts information that you thought was hidden away in those computers and catalogs behind the parts store counter. And second, they want to make the parts affordable. They offer reliably low prices. And man, it's magic. Go to rockauto.com, choose the part brands, prices, features you want anytime. 24/7, go to the website. You're going to love that website. rockauto.com. A lot of the parts you were told dealer only, no longer available. Parts are delivered directly to your home or office. So why waste time, money, hunting for parts, phoning, driving, waiting in lines? Go to rockauto.com today. Make sure you tell them that we sent you. Write Dan Patrick in the How Did You Hear About Us box so they know that we sent you and you listen to the program. All the parts your car or truck will ever need at rockauto.com. So I'll give you my answer to the poll question. Your phone calls best and worst of the weekend, our best and worst of the weekend, and whose stats would you want? All of that coming up.
Here at Podcast One, we love hearing from you. We read every tweet and comment you send our way. So don't miss your chance to take our summer listener survey. Just go to podcastone.com and click on the survey banner. Or go to podcastone.com/mysurvey. It only takes a few minutes, and it gives you the opportunity to make a direct impact on your favorite shows. Tell us how you really feel so we can get to know you better. We value your thoughts and participation. So check out the survey at podcastone.com/mysurvey. Or click on the survey banner on podcastone.com.
Hey, listeners, just wanted to take a minute to thank all our great sponsors and all of you great listeners for supporting this podcast. We certainly couldn't do it without either of you. And I wanted to remind you that you can support our sponsors by going to our show page at podcastone.com, clicking on the Support This Podcast button, and there you will see all our wonderful sponsors that help make this show possible. Thank you for downloading, subscribing, and, of course, supporting. And now, back to the show.
Stay tuned for 60 seconds of AP News headlines right after this podcast.
Had a great this day in show history. How many years ago was this, the sausage race at Miller Park?
Several
years.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I think it's 5 years.
5 years ago. And that was a lot of fun. Fritzy threw out the first pitch. And so we put on sausage outfits. And Fritzy was bringing up the rear. And in fact, there were a couple of times when you're looking at this, he's not in the picture of the race. It's like Secretariat. We're all Secretariat, and then you're the second place horse.
About 5 seconds in, my goal was to not pass out and have to have a paramedic take me to the local medical center as opposed to trying to actually win the race.
Yeah, because Fritzy goes, I could have died in there. I go, you're not going to die.
It was really hot. You guys obviously are in better shape than I am, but I'm not saying the weather was different for me or my outfit was tighter than anyone else's. I'm just saying that it was a nightmare for me. I don't know if I was claustrophobic.
You were claustrophobic.
I could feel my face getting pale inside the thing.
Yeah, you were definitely claustrophobic. Absolutely. Because when we went down underneath the stadium, and then you're like, "Get me out of here! Get me out of here!"
That's all I could think the entire race is like. Eventually, they're going to have to find a way to get this off me. And now I'm going to be
can't breathe. Get me
extra
out of here.
sweaty and clammy, and this thing.
And then the people trying to get us out of these outfits, these costumes, were like laughing. They thought you were joking.
My arm doesn't go that way.
They had really good bedside manner. We've had people much bigger than you that slipped right out of the thing. So I don't know what your problem is.
I'm trying to get out. My arm doesn't bend. It doesn't bend that way.
You got to push out and in and around, and that's how it gets out of the hole of your arm. I don't know what you're talking about.
The funniest part is like this 19-year-old intern trying to pull the thing off Todd's body. Yeah. He goes, hundreds of people do this every year. Hundreds. Because he's like, why can't you get it off your body?
Pascal and Germany joins us. Pascal?
Hey, Dan.
Hi.
Got a best and best of the weekend.
Okay.
First off, Toni Kroos scoring in the 95th minute to lift Germany over Sweden.
Okay.
And put the fate back in their own hands. And also Panama scoring their first World Cup goal in their history against England in the 6-1 defeat.
Can you say Hans shoot the glass?
Hans, sorry?
Hans shoot the glass.
Hans shoot the glass.
Okay, that's it. That's it. From Die Hard.
I don't know that reference, sorry.
Yeah, like Bruce Willis, the movie Die Hard?
Yeah, I know the movie, but I think I'm too young for that. So.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Shoot the glass?
Shoot the glass. Yeah, you gotta check that out.
Schießt das Glas or something like that, maybe? I'm not sure.
Can you say it in German? What would shoot the glass be in German?
Schießt das Glas.
Okay, I like that. Hey, congrats on Germany staying alive there, and good luck against South Korea.
Thanks.
Okay, that's Pascal. Apparently too young to have seen Die Hard. Shoot the glass. Yes, boy.
He's obviously in a great mood after Germany winning, but you could tell. You remember in the movie, Hans says to one of his henchmen, he says, shoot the glass in German, and then he pauses and he says it in English.
Okay.
How do you see Die Hard and not remember that scene? And you're German.
I don't know if he saw it. Did he? Oh, yeah, he did see it. I don't think he was... Maybe he wasn't enamored like we were.
Yeah, he might not just obsess over stupid things like that, like we do.
He didn't sound like he was in a great mood. I mean, Germany won. Yes, McLovin.
If he was in a better mood, would we have asked for Get to the Chopper too? That
I did that with Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah, he loved it.
Yes, I would do that.
Wonder why I haven't had Dirk on lately.
It's been very tough to get. We've tried a few times.
Dirk has a better sense of humor than Pascal.
Dirk volunteered that. He was as into it as we were.
Oh, he was great. The shoot, get to the chopper.
I'm not familiar with that reference.
Yeah. All right, whose stats would you want? By the way, our hot new poll question is what
sports body type would you want? I put up some choices, but you seem to have a front runner.
I want a swimmer's body.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But I put soccer on there because
no.
I put football, basketball, boxing.
Guys, little wimpy things.
How about Saquon Barkley? I guess is the new ESPN body thing and magazine, and he's pretty ripped.
No, really?
No, I mean like Saquon's more ripped than any NFL player of all time. He's
Adrian Peterson is.
Oh yeah, he's another one.
Yeah, Saquon's right there.
Yeah.
He's pretty shredded.
Yeah. Did you see Greg Norman?
Dude,
I read that. I haven't seen
Greg
it yet.
Norman.
Gun show.
Yeah, he's naked with a driver.
Why wouldn't he be?
Well, it might be a 3-wood. I don't know. Maybe it's a fairway wood, but he's naked and getting ready to address the ball. Hello, ball. The body issue. Whose stats would you want? We ready for this? Seaton, can I get some music here?
Hey, whose stats do you want? Whose stats do you want? Hey!
That's great.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a new addition.
That's pretty good.
All right.
John K., our buddy John K.
All right,
sent that
John,
one in.
thank you.
Well done.
But does it maybe match up with some other whose stats would you want?
Stats. I want your stats. Stats are natural, stats are fun. The only question is, whose stats do you want? Stats.
Okay, that one's good too. But is it as good as maybe this one?
When the stats are nice and the salary's bumping.
It's a classic.
Hey, yippee-yi-yo. And everybody's starting to call in, yippee-yi-yo. Tell Paul, start name dropping. Hey, suck it back, bro. When Dan answers the call, he's gonna shout out, whose stats do you want? Whose stats do you want? Whose?
That's my favorite one.
It's great. This is his little voice singing. Everybody's starting to call.
Tell Paul stop name dropping. Okay, so whose stats would you want, Paul?
Whose stats you want? Whose stats you want? Whose stats you want?
Dude's in his car.
So he's driving.
He's in his car driving.
You imagine somebody's going by him, on the 405, and he's just singing at the top of his lungs. Whose stats would you want? Okay, Paul, here we go.
Dan, I need a couple more seconds to get them together.
Okay.
I said, whose stats would you want? I said, whose stats would you want? I said, whose stats would you want? For the best things alive.
Dan, whose 2017 stats would you want at the quarterback position? Quarterback 1, 15 starts, 3,200 yards, 13 touchdowns, 15 picks, 62% passer. His quarterback rating was 79.3. Quarterback 2, 13 starts, 3,500 yards, 19 touchdowns, 11 picks, 64% passer. Quarterback rating of 92.2.
QB2 is Jameis Winston.
Correct.
QB1?
They're tied together.
Marcus Mariota?
That's correct.
Yeah. Well, at some point, Mariota has to start getting better numbers because I said he would be a better quarterback in the long run than Jameis Winston. How many years? This is Winston's fourth year he just completed.
Mariota's 2016 season, though, he had 26 touchdowns and 9 picks. He was off and running in the 2016 season. Then he kind of, due to injuries and other things, went back to.
I still don't know why you don't use all of his weapons, all of his abilities. And maybe with Mike Vrabel there, you do more with Marcus Mariota. Because I do think that you got to put pressure on the defense. If you let the defense dictate, then they're going to dominate you. But if you put pressure on the defense, then it's different. And you see that with the Patriots. The Patriots put pressure on the defense. It's hard. It's difficult for that defense to put pressure on the Patriots offense. It always seems like they strike first. They're a step ahead of you in a lot of ways. Let me see. Do we have time for our best and worst of the weekend? Paulie, I'll start with you.
Best and worst of the weekend, Cristiano Ronaldo trying to get a little sleep, but the Iran soccer fans, wouldn't let him do it. They found his hotel and chanted and played songs outside his hotel. He went outside, gave them the I need to sleep symbol, where he put his head like this, and then gave him a thumbs up, and they eventually dispersed. That's my best.
Wait, that worked?
Well,
I would think if he acknowledged you, then you continue it.
He was shirtless, by the way.
Oh, okay. Of course he is. Isn't he always shirtless?
Wouldn't you be?
Yeah, I would be. Yeah. He's one of the few soccer guys where you go, okay.
Like, okay, I get it.
Like everybody else is built like Messi. Or Mo Salah.
Harry 1-1, by the way.
Harry Kane is a tall drink of water, isn't he? Is he considered tall for a soccer player?
Kind of a Josh Lucas type, the actor.
Yeah.
Good hair.
I can see that.
Great.
He's got a little I see dead people to him, too. Who's that guy? We've had him on the show before.
Haley Joel Osment?
Haley Joel Osment?
Wow. Yeah. They could be brothers. They could totally be brothers.
Really?
Harry Kane! Yeah.
I see dead people.
Yeah, he could totally be Harry Joel Osment.
Different body types, but facially.
Was Josh Lucas in Sweet Home Alabama?
Don't do that. Don't you ever do that.
What was that?
You're chewing on your pen there. I haven't seen Sweet Home Alabama this week.
You have a baby in a bar.
In a bar.
It's a great line.
And the fact that Reese Witherspoon is going to do whatever. What's the pink?
Blonde? Legally blonde?
Legally blonde, pink. Yeah. She's doing a Legally Blonde 3, I think.
Finally.
Yes. All of those loose ends are going to be tied up. Finally. Why am I thinking Pretty in Pink with Molly Ringwald? What the hell? All right. Final hour coming up. Dan and the Danettes will be in New York tomorrow. C. Webb and Reggie Miller will join us in studio. And then Wednesday, Dale Earnhardt Jr. stops by. Back with the final hour right after this.
Shut it down! Hi, I'm John Taffer. You probably know me because I've rescued thousands of bars, hundreds of them on TV. That's your future. Broken! I'm also a best-selling author, and I've owned and operated a bunch of other businesses. But now, I'm here on Podcast One with my new show, No Excuses. I only yell at assholes. Every Tuesday, I'm going to give it to you straight. I'm giving you all things bar rescue, insider peeks of what's going on the set, current events and topics you care about, with in-your-face analysis, and you know how straight I can be. And I'm going to have unforgettable guest interviews with the world's most interesting people, and I'm going to ask them the questions that nobody else has ever asked them. And yes, sometimes I can be a bit of an ass, but I'm going to shut it down every Tuesday and make no excuses. It's going to be the #1 show here on Podcast One. Listen to it every Tuesday on PodcastOne.com, on the Podcast One app, and on Apple Podcasts. And remember, rate and review it, or I'm going to shut you down.
I'm Rita Foley with an AP News Minute. Congressman Michael McCall, the Texas Republican who chairs the Homeland Security Committee, is looking at those photographs of children separated from their parents who crossed the border illegally, telling Fox News Sunday.
I think this is inhumane, and I think the pictures that we have seen, that's not the face of America. I think that most people in this country want.
Republicans will try to push an immigration bill through the House this week that would limit the government's ability to separate children from parents crossing the border illegally. But over the weekend, the president tweeted, "We cannot allow all of these people to invade our country." Thousands of people are evacuating a Northern California neighborhood about 100 miles north of San Francisco because of wildfires.
What we're doing is attacking the fire directly on the fire's edge, trying to contain it as quickly as possible to restore normalcy and get people back into their homes as soon as possible.
CAL FIRE spokesman Jordan Mata talking to KGO-TV about the Pawnee fire. I'm Rita Foley.